Hello and welcome to We're Not Wizards. I'm your host, Richard, and we're giving it big and large here at We're Not Wizards. And it's me, Richard, and we're rolling dice and going hey and ho. And I'm here with my good man, Colin. Say hello, Colin.
Hello.
Hello, Colin. How are you?
I'm fine, Richard. I don't know what's happened to you though.
We're doing the New Jersey version of We're Not Wizards.
Oh, we were doing that. Oh.
We're not doing it then.
I'm walking here.
I'm talking here. I'm eating some crisps here. I'm rolling the dice. This isn't going to work, is it? No, it's not going to work at all. Right, okay. So we're going to dump the New Jersey version of We're Not Wizards. And that's just solely for Behind the Barricade, guys, because challenge accepted. I'm now waiting for your fantastic Sean Connery impression. Yes, we are Not Wizards. It's me, Richard, and I'm joined, as with always, my wonderful co-host Colin. Say hello, Colin, again. Don't stare at me like that. It was meant to be something different. We are doing this because there are quite obviously not enough podcasts there about board games.
And, well, you never really get too many shows which are just two guys sitting talking about something they love.
Just talking about geeky stuff, because that never really
you
happens.
never find that.
And today's episode is it was Tabletop Day yesterday, so today's episode is called the Tabletop Day Post-Party Special Halfway Show. And it's the halfway show because this is episode number 4 of 8.
4 of 8, okay.
4 of 8.
Oh my god.
We're just going to keep it, I know we've got another 4 of these travesties to get through. And it was Tabletop Day yesterday, so Colin, what did you play yesterday for Tabletop Day?
A lot of games.
You didn't play?
Yeah, I didn't play anything.
You didn't play any games?
I didn't even know about it.
I didn't play any games either. I kind of did know about it, but then I had it was my better half's birthday, so I had to do birthday things.
What did you get me?
I don't want to talk about it here. It's quite private. So those who did play tabletop games yesterday, I hope you had an absolutely fantastic time. For those who didn't, that's fine. You can join our gang. As per usual, we do a couple of very, very quick shout outs. The list is it's staying stable. It's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
All right.
It's not too bad. Okay. MassmoviecideUK, Trevor and Gary doing their films. Behind the Barricade we've already mentioned, but John and Dan challenge was being laid down. We're waiting for your return. Thank you very much. Been listening to the Staying In podcast, which is a lot of geeky stuff. They cover films, games, movies, pretty much everything. They're pretty good to listen to.
Competition?
No.
Oh, thank God for that.
No. They're nobody's competition to us. Nobody would want to be in the same league as us. We then got big shout out to Laps Gamer Radio, Mark, Sev and Lee, who are basically helping people get back into playing video games again, who have had a little bit of a break, and they kind of get people to play alongside them. They select the game, and they have some really, really good interesting chat and some interesting insight into stuff as well. If you fancy following along to an actual role-playing game as it occurs, you've got the Rusty Quill gaming podcast, where Alex, James, Bryn, Ben and Lydia are playing through Pathfinder version of their own game, using those rules. Paddy and CJ, Twin Humanities, big shout out to them. And obviously the Dark Insight boys as well, who are currently discussing Dark Souls 3. Which is
would they be doing that?
Because Dark Souls 3 is out.
Oh, okay.
That's why. Apparently everybody's talking about it except me, because I ain't playing it yet. And that's it. That's Cliff and Vader and Jeremy.
Okay.
He's Vader Van Odin. His son's called Odin. He's his father. And Vader means father. Who knew? But obviously special mention to everybody who keeps spreading the word about us on Twitter, on Facebook, who keeps mentioning us, shouting at us in the street, telling us to stop recording. Thanks very much. What have we been playing?
The next exciting game of Frostgrave, which was quite epic.
What's happening with Frostgrave? How did you get on with Frostgrave?
It's going well, but it's bringing out the worst elements in competition in me. So I've kind of decimated the last 3 people I've played.
You're not kind of forgiving, are you?
No, I'm not very forgiving. Not
in your nature when it comes to gaming. You're not the kind of person, nah, I'll give you a shot. I'll give you a chance.
No, it was quite an epic game.
Die.
He killed my apprentice, so I killed his wizard. Just tit for tat.
Were you playing a wizard again?
No, he's a soothsayer. It's
that's
different.
That's a guy that looks at
different.
entrails and bones.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Teeth and
he likes all that.
And he contacts Mystic Meg and finds out what's happening on a Tuesday.
Mystic Meg, dear God,
that's a thing and a half.
Yes,
I don't know if she's still alive. Well, if you are, I know she's probably listening to the show. Well, she should be.
But Frostgrave's getting interesting because we're playing an ongoing campaign. All the wizards are beginning to get superly good at casting their spells, which is making it a lot more deadly on the actual game, which is.
And have you got your own models? Are you moved on to using your own models on it?
Yeah, I just bought a new set of models for the game the other day. So
are you going to paint them?
Yeah, of course.
I'd like to see that because I've seen your setup for painting, and it's super cool. You can get right in there. It's got an absolutely fantastic wide lens.
Yeah, he's talking about a lamp with a mirror, a magnifying glass on it. It's not that amazing, chaps.
I was quite impressed with it. I was able to look at my nails and see which one needed sorted out. I jumped onto. I did a bit of Escape from Atlantis with the kids, just to touch on that because obviously we've created an addict.
Yeah.
Through Twitter recently,
Ooh.
who went out and bought it because
no.
we said it was brilliant.
Oh God!
And then they come back to us and says, "I've also bought the 5 and 6 player expansions as well." And you've turned me into, of course, Stronghold. I lapping it up, going, "Oh, okay. What else can you sell?" So with our fee,
it's a bit like my Pixel Tactics.
Ah!
I've went and bought 3 of the expansions for it now.
Oh dear. We need to play that.
Yes, you need.
We are going to talk. Yeah, I need to play it because you've played it. So Arte Clarice, if you're out there, sorry, and I hope you don't have to sell too much of your stuff to keep your addiction going.
Kidneys.
Liver, you can get a good price
it.
for a cornea.
Yeah,
good market
live
on
without
that.
an eye and out a kidney. It's
Teeth,
fine.
hair, sell your hair. I couldn't sell my hair.
I couldn't sell my
hair either. I'd probably buy some hair. Yeah. Artie, if you've got some hair to sell us, we'll gladly take it off your hands, and we'll pay you in Escape from Atlantis expansions. We spoke last time. It's been a long time. It's been a month because we've been busy.
Yeah.
And I've been away, and you've been away, and then there's just been.
Well, I've got my massive cocaine habit, so.
I know, and I'm obviously out in the field. Disguising myself as various woodland animals and attacking foxes. We talked about... I don't know where that came from.
No.
That just came from left the field. We spoke about a couple of games that we were going to play through the other time, the last time.
Yep.
The last time, and if that was episode 3.
We've also learned how to pronounce one of them.
We actually have, and we actually managed to play, and we also managed to play and get one off our table, and get it out there. So, we spoke about Rivet Wars.
We did, yeah.
Which was and we've played that, and I moved it from something that I liked to something that I really liked.
It's a game we need to sit and play more.
Yes.
There's an awful... It's very simple, but like everything in life, there's an awful lot more to it than just it being very simple.
Yes. I mean, what I discovered is there's obviously this happens a lot, but there is a big difference between playing the first 5 or 6 intro games and then moving on to the main game when they bring in kind of the more rules, because it is just like a movement and dice game. You move. We mentioned it on the last podcast, so we'll not go back into the basics. But
No.
you know, it's a nice little kind of in the trenches, lol, so cute, kind of little figurine steampunk type kind of almost not, little kind of, you could say almost like skirmishy type game.
Yeah, it is a skirmish game. Yeah.
And but it. And if you played it like that, if you were just playing movement and dice, it can become quite dull because it is a rock paper scissors type scenario. Like, say for instance, you've got infantry units, they can't attack your heavy artillery or your tanks.
Well, it's asymmetrical, so the sort of ally side.
It's a big word.
Yeah. So, sorry. Oh,
I just try to. I feel stupid now. No two sides are the same. Oh, that would be asymmetrical then.
Yeah.
Thicky. Thicky mixter.
So the sort of allied side is all anti-infantry with their infantry and their cannons are anti-infantry, and then they have little motorbikes which are anti-vehicle, whereas the other side, the sort of access guys, they are the exact opposite. Their infantry is anti-vehicle, and it's their sort of vehicle troops that are anti-infantry. It's
nice
rock, how it meshes. Like,
it's rock paper scissors basically. There's certain units that they will not be able to attack other units, and it leads you to be very strategic when you're laying out your new troops.
Who you buy.
Yes,
who you
basically.
buy to replace your deck.
Basically.
Because
and what I really liked about it was the fact that the game could change who was winning quite quickly based on that selection of troops, and and it's really easy to learn as well. It's very, very quick to play, but then there's a strategy that comes in the terms of there's the action cards, which give you basic kind of things that you can do, like you can lay kind of gas and stuff like that, or you get to move 2 units instead of 1, or you get to move a unit again. So that's kind of interesting because you can play that. But then there's the secret mission cards. Explain to the folks about the secret mission cards, if you could.
If I could, yeah, totally. The cards are basically how you score extra points. So they will give you something you have to achieve, like kill 4 machines.
Yeah.
Take 2 points, and then it'll give you bonus points. And the games are essentially quite quick. The last game we played was you had to get to 8 victory points, and I had to get to 10 victory points.
Yes, I actually had to hold. There was one of them we played. I had to hold the areas. I had to stop you from basically scoring at all, or holding on to the points, because there's areas which are kind of like almost capture points which you have to have, and every time you hold on to a capture point you get a victory point. Now in the base game, if you don't play past the base game, it becomes a simple war of attrition. It's whoever
If you want to play it properly, then you're going to have to play it with the slightly expanded rules, and they aren't complicated expanded rules.
No, not at all. And they add so much more value to the game as well. I mean, we really kind of, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like the lol so cute aesthetic of it.
Yeah. And there's expansions as well.
There's expansions galore for it.
I think there's about 4 that I saw so far. I mean, there's also the add-on.
Your children have both their kidneys, so you'll be able to afford it. It's fine.
To give their teeth.
A little kid's kidney, that'll sell for a lot in the black market.
Don't say that. That's in so many levels wrong, but a good thinking point.
Yeah.
But they've brought in kind of airborne units as well, so it can take to the skies.
I wonder how they'll play, if you know what I mean.
Well, interestingly enough, when I was looking at it, there was some of the stuff in the base game was already marked to be able to attack items in the sky as well, or air, go surface to air kind of
Well,
shenanigans.
during the original Kickstarter, they one of the goals was the air units.
Yeah, so it's
didn't reach that.
yeah.
Or did reach that pay point. I don't know. I'd have to
I
relook
think
it
it
up.
did quite. I think it did
It
quite
did
well.
immensely well.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure was right up there and got funded quite quickly.
Totally.
Replay wise, I would probably sit and play this in an evening and just rattle through quite a few campaigns.
Yeah, exactly. Game takes maybe half an hour to 45 minutes to play in a mission.
Yeah.
And you could happily play 3 or 4 missions.
Yeah.
What I would probably want to do is play the mission as one side and then play the mission as the other side.
Yeah, because you get a totally different experience, as we've already said, based on the tactics for one side aren't necessarily going to work for another side. And you get little plugins that you can have. You get your mechanized vehicles, and you can add in like a little general or an extra turret, and that kind of all adds to the fray as well.
Yep.
I've seen it. Well, obviously, what we like to do is, in terms of money wise, it's 60. I've saw it for about £65, which
it's on the expensive side of board
games.
games.
It is on the kind of the higher kind of, it is a bit more expensive, and the expansions are also relatively. They're not cheap either. They are about £35 again.
Well, an expansion's normally, roughly
just
half the price of the base set. So,
some of the more unusual ones are going for higher though. I think because of the scarcity. This is what it comes down to. You run a successful campaign, you put together the money that you have for the expansions, and you put that out there in the hope that you sell more. And obviously, as it gets rarer, the price will obviously increase.
Tell me about it. There's a few board games where I desperately want the expansion, but
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So all in all, I would, I've got this. So we probably will play it again.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Next, we'll roll it out. We'll end up doing a revisiting. Let's play stuff again that we meant to play last time. So yeah, Rivet Wars, it's Super Robot Punch and Cool Mini or Not, which are good. I've seen it for about £65, and it's if you have, if you're getting some money for your birthday, probably worth picking up. But you have to get a lot of money for your birthday.
It's I don't know, kids today, dear God.
It's the price. Do you know what the sad thing is? It's slightly over the price of a PlayStation 4 game nowadays.
Yeah.
So
there you go. And
you can play with a real human being instead of some person online from America.
I thought we were trying to get people to buy these things, not.
Well, we are. We're saying it's cheaper than a PlayStation 4 game.
Oh yeah, but you have to play with real human beings.
Well,
dear
that's
God.
nothing wrong with that. Talk to people. Get out there. The other thing we obviously mentioned was the board game that neither of us can.
Pax
Perforiana. You see, we have gone for lessons, and we said it 3 times in a mirror at midnight and got attacked by a ghostly Mexican.
Yep.
This is one of these weird games that the rules themselves make the game out to be much more complicated than the base kind of mechanics of the game.
Because there is a lot of rules to the game, an awful lot of rules, but when you sit down and play it, the rules all fit seamlessly together.
Yes,
you understand it as soon as you start putting the cards down and go, all right, this does this and this does that.
Yeah, and it took a couple of watch throughs of like a let's play. I mean, I watched the let's play video. We watched a little of the let's play video while we were playing. We had a friend round. That was Stuart.
It was Stuart.
Stuart, hello Stuart. If he's a listener and fan of the show.
No,
he's not.
No, Twitter says no.
He's still got that tweet. And for those who we maybe missed the last episode, and there'll be many of you, it's basically about the Mexican kind of revolution, round about the turn of the
Diaz.
Yeah.
So then the Diaz period of which is
it's 1879 and 1912 or Something along ish.
Ish.
Ish. Don't hold me to that. I'm going to get angry history professors.
Roosevelt. Whenever Roosevelt was in charge.
I don't know.
The good one, Teddy, the one that shot the bear.
The one that didn't shoot the bear.
He didn't shoot it.
No, he didn't shoot it. That's
well,
why.
Shot its mum, though.
Well, he didn't shoot the cub, though.
No, he didn't shoot the cub.
How easily we forget those evils. Oh, look, he's cute. Oh, we could call it Teddy Bear.
Oh,
well, I'm sorry, it's going to die in 3. It's going to die in 3 weeks through malnutrition because we don't know how to feed it. But anyway, that's another thing. Pax Porphyriana is essentially, it's almost like a resource. You're building up resources to an end point.
You're
That's
trying
what
to
it is.
accrue money.
You're trying to accrue money, but you're also trying to accrue certain points of prestige or outrage or revolution.
There's 4 sort of things that you have, I suppose you would call them resources, that you need to gather. That's command points.
It's outrage.
Outrage points.
Revolution, isn't it?
Yeah, revolutionary points and loyalty points.
Yes.
And then you really need to specialize into one of them, or maybe 2 of them.
Yes.
Because you need to be able to beat 2 of your opponents that have the least of those values. So say I'd gone all into command points and 2 players at the table only had 1 point each in command. That means I would have to beat their score of 2 plus the it's called Diaz's points.
Basically, he gets a score based. The game revolves around different types of the state of calm or unrest which is happening at present at any one time. So you might have an American occupation on the go. It might be a case that you're under anarchy, or either that or you're under peace. And based on those conditions, that will ultimately decide how you are going to overthrow the dictator. Yeah. Now, as you go, and what the states also do is they give you rewards. So based on the current state, if everything's peaceful, you get more money at the end of the round for the banks that you have and the mines that you have and stuff like that. But there's key cards that you have. You get to have armies that you can send to occupy other people's land, and that you get resource when they score, or you can use it to protect your own lands. You know, there's also additional cards which just say, we'll tell you what, you get an extra 1 at the beginning, or you get an extra 1 of these, or it doubles up your resources. As I say, probably the greatest hurdle to playing this is playing it. I think is getting through it and pushing through it.
It's getting people to sit down and play it.
Yes,
As soon as we sat down and played it, we went, oh, right, wow, this is fab. I can see why everyone on Board Game Geek and things have been going nuts over this game. Yeah. It's lovely little bit of complexity in there. Yeah.
I mean, looks-wise, it's a decent... The art isn't... You wouldn't say the art is anything to write home about, but it kind of... You're dealing with very long...
the theme that it's trying to push.
It's very small landscape. You're dealing with cards that have a lot of written information and quite a lot of history. So you can be sitting there with your hand of cards looking through stuff, and you'll actually learn, as you said, probably you'll learn a little bit of Mexican history of the time period.
Yeah, we were reading the generals and just finding out, some of the generals were like, wow, that's he's really interesting chap.
This guy travelled the world, not only involved in revolutions in kind of Mexico, but decided to...
He was in Bulgaria.
He just was basically a mercenary for hire. So, I mean, essentially, there's cards, you buy cards, you put them to your hand, you pay an amount to play them, and then they'll have an effect in your hand. Mm-hmm. You also get black cards which you can play, which will disrupt other person's hands as well.
They're assassination cards. You've got your resource cards, which are either mines or banks or plantations, and then from your resource cards you then go into economy cards. So that is things like gun stores and things like that, which all garner you in more money, and then you can go into your troop cards, and then you have things called allies and partners, and they give you game breaking mechanics. Like they give you an extra turn.
They take it outside the rules, which is, and then. But the thing is, a lot of these cards, they have their own set of rules written down within the rule book. So it leads to the rule book itself possibly being about maybe 20 pages long.
Yeah.
So it's quite big. But again, the cards themselves have enough information on them so that when you play them, you know exactly why you're playing them, and you know exactly why. I guess the only thing that we had a slight confusion over is the end game and what we were meant to do, because there's cards in there which make it that if you miss the wrong bit of the rules,
like we did,
you think, oh, I've got to get 18 points in order to successfully
to win the game.
When you realise, is it easy to learn?
I would
say it was.
Yeah.
I would say if it would be almost like a triangle learning. If you had like maybe two people that played it before, they could very easily bring somebody new in.
They would destroy you, but
yeah, I know. But even then, it's it's fairly easy to pick up from there. Is it fun?
I enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it.
You did enjoy it because you looked as though you weren't enjoying it.
But that's when I was thinking.
You had the face of, what on earth is going on here?
See, no, that was my thinking face, because it is.
Why is Colin screaming that if Stu hadn't bought that card, he could have won? Why is he saying this?
Why am I buying outrage and yet there's already outrage at the table? Kind of thing. What's loyalty? Who's this guy with a beard? He doesn't even look Mexican.
They all have beards, man.
All of them. It's just no. Just stop. I enjoyed it. Because it made me think. It wasn't just a case of playing a card. You actually had to think, right, okay, I can play this army card now. I can put it on my own homestead, which is protecting it because I've built up my resources because I'm getting X amount. Or I put it on a mine, so I was getting a lot of stuff for the mines. Or what I can do is I can play it on your mine and take over and get some resource from you. Or do I keep it in my hand at the moment? Or do I put my army on my actual... is it Hosendado?
Horsendado is
Horsendado, he's you're basically, and they all have powers too.
Yep.
So they have the ability to say, right, rather than you pay X amount of gold for this, you only pay 3 gold for that.
Now, to put your troop onto him, you have to do a thing called rebelling.
Yeah.
In which case, you decide that you're going to form your own army and militarily take over the country.
You're showing your hand, effectively. You're declaring that you have an
open
interest.
yourself up to being assassinated with the black cards. So.
And I don't know about you, Colin, but there's nothing like a good assassination.
No.
On a Tuesday.
Yeah. Osborne. Yeah.
No
political leanings.
No, let's go Beyonce. No, she got political.
Yeah, she got
she
very
did
political.
Political. Oh, well. Right, okay. I've seen this for £40. Yep. I'm pretty sure that
would be the collector's edition, which comes with a sexy board.
Yes, it
and
does.
A big box.
And I would actually recommend it's worthwhile getting the board because it does really, really help with the layout and the setup, and it's and it's decent looking.
The rule book in that version is better.
Yes.
The original rule book apparently is a little more confusing to read through,
which I couldn't imagine it being.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just that look at this page, look at this page, look at this section, look at this section to find out what this individual card does. So at the beginning, there is a lot of time.
Yep.
Again, but if you break through that, if you spend the time, you're going to find a game that requires a lot of thought and a lot of
brain burning.
Yeah. Yep. That's what happened. That was my face when it was brain burning like that. He's not enjoying this. He thinks it's rubbish. It's like, no, I am actually enjoying it. It's just my brain's going, oh, I'm not just rolling a dice and moving here. I'm actually having
the AP in the game is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's you sit for 10 minutes going, I don't know whether to put it here. I don't know whether to put it here. And it's like, why? Well, because if I put it here, I can't play this card. I can play this card here. I can put this card here.
But
I can
for
buy
me,
that
it was,
card
it
there.
was that beautiful nervousness of, are they going to buy that card? Don't buy that card. Don't buy that card. If he buys that card, I've lost.
Stu bought that card.
He bought the card. Why is he buying that card?
And the rage.
He can't win. Well, why does he? What's he doing?
You bought the card, you're like that.
He can't win. He can't win. Why is he doing that?
I think at the end of the day, it was just to throw a spanner.
Yeah, he just wanted to find out what the mechanics did.
I know.
Because we hadn't looked at it.
He just threw
And it's like-
threw a burrito in the works.
I know. And it's like, well, if you wait just 15 seconds, I can show you what the mechanics are. No, you bought the card. Oh, well.
So, get it. If you fancy something that's beyond the norm, it's certainly...
If you want something in your collection, and you'll probably end up garnering a collection because board games are
like that.
pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You know, for the entertainment fun factor you get from a board game, okay, you might not put 350 hours into one board game like you might do with a computer game, but
then I know people that
social interaction more than makes up for it.
You know, you can't kind of, you can't buy being able to speak to somebody.
Yeah, well, you can.
You can.
It's called prostitution.
I know it. It's like we have to do that. So yes. So what we're saying is, no, we're not saying. Can we move on?
Yes, okay.
Let's do this. About 2 weeks ago, there's been obviously a continuing discussion about our third game that we finally played.
Oh, we did play it.
We finally did play it, and it was led.
Leo won. Ah.
And it was led, and it was also led by a tweet which simply said, "And I'll be staring across from you with a look of complete disappointment." Now that was Isaac Childress from Cephalo Fair Games, who, Isaac, we can now be friends again because we have played Forge Wars.
Yes.
Forge Wars. Sorry. We sat down. We broke the back of it.
Yeah, we only played the base game. We haven't played the expanded version.
No, but we will. If you've been listening to the show, Forge War is essentially getting resources to allow you to get weapons, to allow you to get people, to allow you to go on a quest and complete the quest. Yeah. So you're basically building up adventurers. You're getting the right appropriate weapons.
Ish, yeah.
It's what did you think of it? I'll throw it out because I talk too much.
I thought it was a good Euro game. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
It's let's see. The little mini games, it's almost broken up into mini games.
Yes.
Because the moving your was it Workmasters? No, it was.
They were kind of like they had
slave drivers or something,
slave drivers,
weren't they? Yeah,
kinda, yeah.
It's a horrendously bad moral game. But
It's got whips and moustache. The meeple's got a whip and a moustache.
a moustache, yes, yeah.
Mr. Whiplash.
And they're workers.
They're workers.
Yes, yeah.
But they have union rights because they do go on strike and disappear.
Yeah, they do.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, because the disappears.
So obviously they're being treated terribly enough to still suffer the whips, but they've got the ability to then say, right, that's enough. 15 whips of the day is enough. I've got me and my 4 mates. We're disappearing. We've had enough, and we're disappearing out the mine.
That gameplay was nice. You
really liked that, didn't you?
I did like that.
Because I could see you kind of ticking over and saying, right, again, it was like, if he puts one there and I put one there, essentially the way the mine works is that you get a chance to put your overseer.
That's
the boy.
Yes, yeah, not
you
slave
put your
master.
overseer, not slave master, not slave trader. You get your overseer.
Remember,
and
in Britain, it's only one quote mark, not 2
I
quote
know,
marks.
I know. Let's not do this. you put your overseer down, and he develops a worker, and you can collect the appropriate. And each of the hexagons that you're on is representative of a different resource. So there'll be like an emerald or a gold or coal or something like that. But the interesting thing is your overseer, when he moves, if he basically moves in a straight line, if he passes over anyone else's workers, they change colour into your worker, and you get to collect the resource. You've got the option, however, if you want to be able to put you've got the option, if you want to be able to put another move for your overseer, and that, but you automatically go to the bottom of the pile in terms of movement. But Forge Wars, like, it is a series of mini games.
Yep.
Which is why, if you look at the whole thing, the sum of the whole thing, because it's a reasonably decent sized board.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does take up
You need a good table.
You need a big table. I mean, you need to. I mean, if there's any, I don't know if there's any sales going on at the moment. There's probably adverts on the telly saying you can get money off because of the spring sale. But if you're thinking about Forge War, you will need to get a decent table, because we did have a decent table, and we still had to work around the resources around the edge and stuff. But I like the mining side of it. You got very tactical with it, and you ended up collecting a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Then from there, you've got the option to. You got the option then to turn the resources that you've collected into the mine into buying plans for weapons, or getting more adventurers.
You then go on to the second part of the mini game, which is then sort of like worker placement. So you've got several options of it's like market stalls. So you've got your resources, and now you're off to the market, and at the market you get to place, you decide that you're going to the blacksmith to buy the specialist weapon that's on sale for that turn, and that blocks everyone else off from that option.
Yeah. So it leads to some potentially tactical decisions if you're looking around the board and you see what people need to do. Because there's simple ones like allowing you to bring in another adventurer. There's other ones which allow you to move forward your quest.
Yep.
And that's the third part of it, which is where you essentially, around the top of the board there are about 8 quests. There's a row of 5 and a row of 3.
Yep.
And there's 8 quests that you can basically purchase, and they'll have different titles, and the artwork's decent.
Oh yeah, it's lovely.
It's decent, lovely looking.
There was one that was all sci-fi, and I felt that didn't fit in with the other.
Yeah, I was wondering if I just threw in the sci-fi. It's like, oh no, being invaded by aliens.
What are battle droids doing here?
What is that, a sword? No, it's a laser gun. All right, then.
I'm going to hit that with my copper axe. Okay, all right.
Yeah, just pack up and go home, really. But basically, a card will say you need to have an axe.
Yep.
And you also need to have your adventurers up to a certain level.
So
you can put as many.
Well, the level for your adventurer isn't the level of the adventurer. It's the level of the equipment you can give to the adventurer. It's all about the equipment.
But also, and you as you said, and a higher. It's worthwhile leveling up your adventurer because they can have bigger equipment, which means they can go on better quests. And the idea is that
depends. What do quests give you?
What?
What do quests give you?
Prestige?
Prizes!
Oh, come on, no. We're going to edit this out. We're not going to edit it out. We should edit it out.
We don't have time to edit it out.
Definitely don't have time to edit it out. Yes, so... Points mean prizes. Hashtag messed it up. But yeah, I mean, essentially you'll move through the quest, and provided you've got enough skill, and in some cases you'll have to have specific weapons, when you get to the end of a full track of a quest, then you'll get prestige points. And prestige points are what you're aiming for.
Yeah,
You'll get the favour of the... You get basically the favour of... The whole idea of this is gaining the favour of the king.
Yep.
Which you get through prestige.
Mm-hmm.
So, Isaac, why you called it Forge War, no idea. Prestige for the king?
No, but you know, how you're getting that prestige is
through the Forge War.
Through the equipment you're making.
I know, okay, I'm just being picky because I'm still hurt by that. I'm looking at you with eyes of disappointment.
Yeah, it's the fact they told you sleep on your right side, which worries me.
Let's move on.
I'm stalking you, man.
Yes, potentially. What's nice is the artwork's very decent. The components are nice. The jewels, you've got little kind of jewels.
Mm-hmm.
But even like, say, the wooden blocks that you have for resources, they aren't just standard wooden cubes. They've, the copper ones are a slightly different shape.
Yes,
the coal ones are a different shape. The jewels themselves are little glass jewels, which is, it's really, really nice. The coins are decent, but each of the adventurers, I think, as part of a stretch goal on the Kickstarter, you could pay to actually have you appear in the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of the adventurers, they'll look cheesy, grinny foes, or people try to be kind of tough.
No, I
really liked them.
It worked really well. Yeah,
it was nice to see, that they had kind of that kind of level of inclusion in the game.
Totally.
Overall, in terms of because it's Kickstarter, in terms of being a quality product, it was...
Oh, it's up there, yeah.
It definitely was really, really good. There was a lot... I mean, I know that...
I was looking at the side of the box for the fantasy fight symbols.
No, but it didn't have a trench in it, so it was fine.
Dear God.
But, no, I mean, Cephalofair...
It's a useful box, that's what you're telling me.
It's a very useful box. It's no point in I'll just get some Tupperware and stick my X-Wings in it instead. But, yeah... Cephalofair are doing something called, what's it called? Gloomhaven.
Okay.
That's their next game, and it's a miniatures game.
Okay.
And I'm considering it because it's past its...
You don't play miniatures games.
I know, but I'm thinking about it. I need to expand my horizons.
The problem with jumping into new miniature games is finding people to play.
Well, we could get it. I think it's just a basic kind of cards and figurine kind of game. I'll check over it.
Yeah.
But it's worthwhile if you're looking for something different. I mean, Forge War's good. It might be worthwhile just having a glance over, Gloomhaven as well. You can buy it. So it is obviously out there in general distribution. So it goes for about £55, which I think that's pretty good value. We played the basic rules. So you've got the basic rules, and then over and above that, you've got the epic rules.
Yep.
And the epic rules seem to open up a whole different...
Well, the basic game, again, I think once you've learned how to play, and that took most of our night to learn how to play.
Yes. But then it took a reasonable time to set up.
It doesn't. It's not the worst game I've seen for setting up. We'll talk about that one.
We'll talk about that one later on, yeah.
But it the actual, once you're down to how to play, there's not an awful lot of...
It can flow really quickly. I mean, I think where we were was, we were in the situation where one of our party had to actually just disappear for the night because it was getting very late. So we ended up kind of rushing through a lot of the rounds at the end, but when it flows, it really flows really well, and it's easy for you to kind of plan your next moves. The only thing that you have to watch out for is the crossover in the market phase of it, where other people could potentially jump in and rain on your parade. But you've always got an option. If somebody does go in and buy like a blueprint for a weapon, then you can always advance your quest or do something. There's always something that you can be doing. I've seen it for around about the £55 mark, which, as I say, seems decent. Replayability, I think it was pretty obvious we kind of just scratched the surface on that bad boy. Really.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of time. I don't think there's any plans for any kind of expansions, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, you're just looking at it. You could add quest cards. You can make up quest cards in order to expand on it.
Yeah, easily.
And there's plenty. There is.
Well, the
there's abundance of content on
is,
there.
is we haven't played the advanced version yet.
No.
We've only played the base game.
But we are. Well, I'd like to give it a shot. I think
definitely.
We'll have a PAX and
Yeah.
we'll have a PAX and Forge night.
Well, yeah. Well, definitely. You know, one of the things we can currently keep on saying is, we get a game, we play it once or twice, we learn the rules, and then it goes up on the shelf, and we're off playing the next new game.
Yes, which I guess you have to. We're kind of stuck. We're not stuck in that.
Yeah.
But keeping the podcast going, we have to. Excuse me.
Yes, it's your fault, dear viewer.
I've got
your fault.
No. It's no. I think but getting a game, that's the most important thing, is getting it played and playing a lot more.
Yep.
Yeah,
totally.
So yes, Forge War. It's out there for playing. It's. I think if you're one of these people that's maybe on a. If you want something a bit different, but once you pick it up, it's really, really easy to play, and there's a lot of value in there because there seem to be a lot of replayability.
As a gateway game for someone getting into Euro games, it's up there with Lords of Water's Deep.
Yeah.
As a way of getting people that aren't used to Euro games, and are more used to your Ameritrash style of game.
Ooh. Wow.
I'd say it's a good week. It's got the coloured cards and everything.
I think
I had it.
there was the intimidation of looking at all the systems, and then again, like PAX Porfiriana.
Yep.
When you play it, you realise, actually, damn,
it's not that bad.
This is easy. This isn't bad at all. Why was I putting it off for a couple of months?
Yep.
And the thing,
well, you said to me after the game, you're like, I saw the exact moment where you went, Colin understands the game now.
Yeah, Colin clicked. Because who won that one?
Leo won that one.
Leo did.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
He left 4 turns before
the end, and he still won. Does that mean that you like the game?
I did enjoy the game.
Did you?
I was playing Leo, so it's fine.
You did win then. That's fine.
I won it for him.
That's fine. It's all good then. Getting off the shelf. We're going to go back to 2.
Back to 2, just the 2.
Just the 2 quickly, for 2 couple of reasons. Because we don't want to leave it another 4 weeks before we do another cast of pod. Because we've obviously got a firm following out there.
No one think of the subscribers.
Well, no one think of the ad revenue and the sponsors. Getting off the shelf, we are cutting it down to 2, but again, Colin.
Yep.
Pixel Tactics.
Level 99 games.
Bill.
Lovely, cheap. You buy one of the base sets. It's got 5 base sets that are out. Wow. And they're 11 quid each. And that's enough for 2 people to sit down and play the game.
You'd be able to get it in the usual places, wouldn't you?
Yep, all the usual places. Or Amazon if you can't find it anywhere else.
And it's incredibly easy to play.
Yes.
Right.
But horrendously deep.
So what we're going to do is that is the first game we're going to play. We're not going to go into it because listening back, because as you do, you listen.
You don't want to hear us.
You don't want to hear us talking about it. It's talking about the same thing. You probably have. You're probably tired already.
Well, we talked about River Wards
like
again
non-stop.
and again.
Yeah, but we like talking. You might as well drop in Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter.
There you go.
It's not had a mention.
Hi,
what have we done?
Hi, John.
Lest we summon it.
Say its name in the mirror 3 times. Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter. And nothing happened because it's a board game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a board game. Unless you got it down from the shelf and then had it appear behind you, and then went, oh! But
dear me.
moving on. Pixel Tactics.
Yep.
We're going to jump on that because it looks fun, simple, and it's like... Is it... What did they call it? Chibi? No? No. That's my name. My brain is thinking something completely wrong. I have gone crazy. It's something else. It's a style of anime. It's kind of like really, really cute.
No, it's 8-bit or 16-bit graphics.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, so they're all stylized like a JRPG.
It looks fantastic.
Yes.
It reminds me, the art style is very similar to a game called Super Dungeon Explore, which Cool Mini or Not do. It's kind of really miniature, kind of anime-looking characters. It's cool. Second game we're going to get off the shelf is...
One of yours.
One of mine, which I have been, just like Forge War, it's probably had it longer than Forge War.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy Steam. It's an ironing game. It's competitive ironing.
Oh, is that like, you know, when you go up Everest to have a picture of you ironing?
Basically, because obviously you've really not got better things to do. What am I going to do? Well, I've got a shirt for work. Off I go. Come on, Sherpa. No, Heavy Steam is essentially it's mech battling using steam as a resource.
Oh, so it's steampunk. Is it? No.
Is it? Well, yeah, it's kind of. But it's basically two big robots fighting off each other. It's a resource management game, though.
Oh, right, okay.
Because basically you use steam as a resource, and you get a really big diagram of your robot, and you push the steam around the robot to get it to do different things like movement and stuff like that. So it's by Greenbrier Games. So it's a steampunk robot fighter.
Yep.
I would call it. We're going to get that off the shelf as well, because that's going to be quite good. Foley, look at this, I'm turning my notepad like last time because we're on the second page. Kickstarter stuff.
I have a Kickstarter.
You have a Kickstarter. Give it a kick. Colin's just finding his Kickstarter. Just a quick news on that, because we spoke about Sans-Alie got funded.
It did get funded.
It got funded, so that's brilliant. So I've been in contact with Jeff.
Does he still have days left, or is it?
No, it's done. It's done and dusted. It got funded within the last 48 hours. All of a sudden it clicked on, and the poor guy was at work.
Yep.
So it was like everyone's like commenting, going, "Jeff, it's funded. It's funded. Jeff, it's funded." Jeff's like,
"You're actually going to have to make this."
Jeff's
Jeff.
like that. I don't know where I am at work. I can't possibly comment on this. He came back and went, "Yoo-hoo!" and everyone, "You and yoo-hoo!" And apparently the game's expanded because the community's really stepped behind it and said, "Have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that?" So that's really good. Obviously, the other one we talked about, Ophidian 2360, was funded already, but they're successful. I'm going to be, over the next month, me and Jeff are going to have a chat. Sorry to break this to you now.
No, that's fine. No,
me and Jeff are going to have a chat.
You're the chatty one.
I know.
I'm the miserable sit in the corner one.
Like flipping Alan Carr. What a week at Spain. So I'm going to having a chat. Don't cringe. Don't cringe. I'm going to be having a chat with Jeff, and we're going to talk through, what it was like, the Kickstarter experience. But over to you. Explain what this is about.
Yes, it's handmade wooden deck and counter boxes for tabletop games and collectible card games. It's from... Let's see. From
Sam Zhao.
Yes, yeah.
All right, okay.
He's Scottish based, so a little bit.
Hold
out to the home crowd.
Hold out to the homeboy. There you go.
I've been in 2 of his Kickstarters before, but this time, and they were for like metal cases.
Well, you shown us. It was like the little kind of roadie cases for cards.
Well, I showed all our fans as well.
You did in the camera.
Yeah.
And you'll need to go back to that episode on YouTube to see the cat. There isn't a YouTube channel, and we haven't taken photographs.
No. But so this time he's doing wooden boxes that are all, decked out to look really kind of sexy.
So it's actually called, the title, in case you want to find it, is Handmade Wood Deck and Counter Box for TCG and Tabletop Games.
Yeah,
It's currently...
It's funded. Yep.
It's funded in a half.
It's funded in a half because everyone jumps on his stuff.
Because I take it the boy knows how to turn a box.
Yeah, really does. The stuff I've gotten from him in the past has been absolute top-notch quality.
High quality.
So.
9 days to go.
9
now,
days
obviously,
to go.
we're going to put a link. We're going to stick a link in the show notes. But it's currently almost at 14 grand, and its pledge level is £2,000.
Yep.
Which means it's seven times what it should be. So it's Sam Zhao, and Zhao is spelt ZHAO. So if you do a quick search for that,
his
should be able to find it. Find his website.
If you just want to jump straight to his website, is kakapopotcg.com.
So it's KAKAPOPOTCG.com.
Yeah.
I'd have a look at that. Jump on that, because that's one of the things that storage is always, or getting good storage is always a bad thing.
Especially for someone like me who's a role player, means I have thousands of dice kicking about everywhere, and I use his boxes to store my dice and counters for things.
My one is new.
Ooh.
It's called Bloodstone Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
It's by Soul Sprite Studios, UK company.
Yep.
It's a tabletop skirmish game.
Okay.
And it's basically, they say it's in a pioneer punk universe.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically take the Wild West and stick it out there in almost like a steampunky type scenario.
Oh, like sort of like Wild Wild West, sort of steampunky.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that what they're trying to do is, rather than use dice and measuring tape, they're using playing cards.
Yep.
So that you'll have a hand of cards, and depending on the cards that you play, you'll either decide your movement, or if you're in a battle, your attack strength. So you play like an eight of spades.
Mm-hmm.
That'll decide, whether up close, if the strength that you will play against somebody.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting concept. It's currently sitting at, I think it's sitting about the £5,000 mark. It's still got 26 days to go.
Yeah.
It's not obviously close to funding. It's not at its funding level yet, but it just has launched. Obviously you get kind of like it's one of these things where you get like you buy little boxes of the figures.
All right. Yep.
So you get like you'll get one pack which is like 4 figures on it. You'll get, if you buy a second pack, you'll have another different kind of tact. It kind of caught my eye because I like the kind of the Wild West type styly steampunky frontier kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of seems really, really. I used to be a big Red Dead Redemption fan. Remember that? Yeah. So, but this just caught my eye because it was something different.
I'm a PC gamer.
Oh,
so.
go away. But the dice thing appeals for me. It's maybe a little bit of skill, but that's So that's Soul Sprite Studios. You can find them on Twitter. It's at Soul Sprite, and Sprite is spelt with a Y, so it's SOULSPRYTE. It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile kind of looking at.
Yeah, totally.
Obviously, when we mention these things on Kickstarter, we're not endorsing them in any way.
No,
we're not saying, it's your choice. Remember,
unfortunately, buyer beware with Kickstarter.
Yes.
And Indiegogo and all the other variants.
Well, have a look at it. Have a look at it. I mean, have a look at the communication. Have a look at the campaign. And
the history. Have they run?
Have they run them before? Do they have a website? Are they active on Twitter? I mean, And again, remember that we give a shout out to a lot of these local UK guys because they need a bit of help. or they sometimes need just a little bit of a.
Well, they
it's fine, yeah.
I hate to say it, but the world is America's oyster.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and an awful lot of things that aren't, if it isn't aimed at America, just fade away and die.
Yeah. But it's good to see that some of the ones that we have spoken about are kind of funded. The big one I've seen, obviously the latest kind of nice one is the Dark Souls franchise is getting a board game.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. I haven't heard anything about it. And how on earth does that work? Because I thought the whole thing about the game was you die and you do it again, and you die and you do it again, and you die.
It's
and
basically
then you
you
throw the controller away because you're frustrated.
You're carting. Well, yes, it depends which one you're playing. No, I mean there is another game that's coming out called the Bloodborne, which is the other latest kind of From Software Souls type game.
Was that the rival guys that half the old company or something?
No, they're still part of the same company, but they worked on this kind of almost gothic style
based
kind
in
of
London
game.
one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very, very kind of city based, but it did move, other places.
Right.
But it's turning into a card game, so that might be worthwhile looking at. Whereas I think Dark Souls is the attraction to it is the miniatures, because they are basically being able to say, do you want to play look at this character, this character, this character, and if you're a Dark Souls fan, you'll
recognise it straight away.
You'll recognise it, and I think it was funded really, really quickly.
Do you know anything about it? Is it?
It's basically
like Descent or
it's
something like that? Yeah, I could see it being like Descent.
It's kind of like combat's controlled by character behaviour cards.
Okay.
So you go and face off against like a mini boss and a boss, and their movement and their attack is based around kind of their behaviour cards, and then you can obviously decide how you're going to attack yourself. I haven't looked too much in the mechanics. I think the main attraction for a lot of people is the fact that it's almost reached £2 million.
Right,
and it's still got about 20 days to go.
So it's one to jump on to put up in the attic to sell in 5 years' time.
It's maybe...
Hello, StarCraft.
I know. Hello, I'm paging Catacombs here. I see one on Amazon today for £854.
Yep. Who on God's green earth would pay £850 for a board game?
I'll tell you, if you're going to pay that, I'll sell you some circular discs.
I'll sell you my copy for £400.
There you go, exactly. So jump on that. I think the attraction with Dark Souls is the figures, because it's a classic, well-loved franchise. The first game, people love it, and I think the chance for them to hold all of the characters, or have all the characters in their collection, and there's going to be some, obviously your... Smough and Ornstein, there's the different sets available, the Gaping Dragon. There's all okay, shake your head. And they won't mean anything to you, but to the fans out there.
The fans
it's 80 quid, and it's opening up. I know, but it's opening up a whole pile of stretch goals.
They've made £2 million.
I know, there's a lot of people, but you got to understand, Dark Souls 3's just come out, so there's that kind of attraction.
They're riding the hype train.
I'm on the fence with this one completely, because I'd rather have a game that I can play as opposed to something that I can look at.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So that's worthwhile mentioning. Again, go ahead, have a look at it. It's funded, you'll get it. Your question is, are you going to chuck 80 quid at something that you want to play? And you can shake your head if you want. Questions. We put some questions out as usual. Mr. Nick Jones, Lane at 360, asked some questions. First question, he said yes.
Yes. Sound like the wrestling.
He's going to keep going with that. He's going to keep going with that joke. Secondly, he says, this is interesting. He says, could you give us a game world where you would like to see either books or video games, a video game made of it? Anything spring to mind?
Power Grid.
Really?
No. Dear God.
Netrunner. Netrunner.
Oh well, the Netrunner universe is
It's
quite.
kind of like a cyberpunk universe, anyway.
It's an interesting universe.
And there's a writer
um,
that's. I know there's probably writers that have already written.
I think
about
there's.
I think Lee Alexander wrote some fanfic about it. I personally would like to see. I think Mice and Mystics
Mhm.
would make either a great video game or a nice set of kind of stories for my kinder.
The only
read.
thing I would say to that is mouse guards.
Right, okay then, that's fine. They've already done that. Well, we'll just buy that instead. Well, I'm going to pick something else.
I'm saying you think it's it's a lovely idea.
But then somebody else has done it already in the line
But
of
I
fiction.
love mouse guards.
Okay. I'm going to get you to play Mice and Mystics, and you're going to...
Yeah, totally.
We should do that at some point.
I'll be lol so cute and hug the miniatures.
Oh, stop it. What game world would you like to see? I'm going to cough all over you like a coffee thing with a coffin.
Me.
Yeah, you.
Battlestar Galactica. Oh no, that's been done. The shameful trap.
How about Space Hulk? Oh, that's been...
That has been done.
That has been done.
That has been done.
That has been done. Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, they did that awful film, didn't they? Wasn't Jeremy Irons
They've done 3 awful films.
Oh dear.
Because you got to remember that. What was it? It was the three-bladed spinning thing.
Yeah, I know.
Was meant to be a D&D film, but
Krull.
it fell through. Krull was
Krull
meant to
was.
be a D&D movie,
Slayers.
but they fell out during production, and
goodness
D&D
me.
pulled their name from it.
Fantastic. Game world then. Are you going to name anything? No. Nick's had an answer. That's the thing. We say Mice and Mystics. Nick doesn't deserve 2 answers. He
doesn't deserve 2 answers.
Well, he could do.
Well, surely they just want my opinion.
Well, give them then your opinion. Then.
I can't think of anything.
Well,
My mind's
not
gone
good.
blank.
Oh no! Are we just going to leave that then?
Yeah.
For goodness sake.
We'll drop the mic.
Right. Okay. What's one game everyone should try? These are all questions by Nick because he loves us apparently. What's one game everyone should try once?
Now
It's got to be a board game.
now, before we sat down and played,
Yeah.
and we had a quick look at the questions. I said that game that I mentioned last week, YS.
Well, yes. Why?
Because it's not a fancy looking game, so getting people to sit and play it, nightmare.
Right. Okay.
But it's so lovely and interesting and backstabby game that we've had nothing but fun when we played it.
We need to play that. There's just a list of games we need to play. I'm going to say what's one game everyone should try once. I'm going to come up with a controversial one. And you're going to go, what? Mysterium.
You hated that game. I loved that game. You hated it.
I didn't hate it. You go back. I didn't hate it.
Have you ever played Dixit?
No. Yeah, I have. But then I really think that Mysterium is it's a board game, non-board game. Because I could bring, like, say, Rivet Wars, or what do? You roll a dice and you do this and you've got cards. Or I could bring, PAX as a card game.
Yeah.
But, Mysterium is one of these games where I think people that weren't into board games would really great. And it's beautiful looking and it's good fun and it's open to interpretation as well in terms of the rules.
Yeah.
So it's not a case that I think anybody could walk into that game and play it.
Yeah.
That's the attraction to me.
I honestly thought you were going to say Love Letter. But
yeah, I suppose. But
Mysterium.
I tried that with my mum, and she couldn't play Love Letter.
No,
she was just. We were going to see her afterwards. Actually, we're going to go and see my mum. You're not.
No.
You're going home.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. So so thank you, Nick, and hopefully those answers will be wonderful and fantastic for you. Oh my goodness! Look at that.
What's that?
We've well spoken over how long we were meant to have spoken over.
Right. We
better
draw it to a close.
Disappear.
The quick answer on Arkham's Horror is yes. It is worth playing the game.
Yes, I forgot that question. That was the one that Arkham Horror.
Might not be worth buying it, so if you have a mate that's got a copy,
trick somebody into getting it.
and it takes you about an hour and a half to lay out.
Wow. Okay. That's not one I would be interested, because that's not one I would be.
It's a good game.
Yeah,
it's a good game. I enjoy it. It all comes down to the monster you pick that you're fighting, because some of them you won't beat at all, and other ones you can beat quite easily. So.
All right. Okay. Well, on that note, because you've played it and I hadn't, I have nothing to add to that.
No.
At all.
No.
Even slightly.
Oh.
I know. That's about it. I think that's enough. It's been a lot of... There's not been a lot of jumping around.
Well, there has been.
Well, as usual, there always is. We always like to hear from you. But if you want to speak to us, if you want to see us, if you want to listen to us, then, I mean, give us a shout on Twitter. It's at We're Not Wizards. Facebook is facebook.com/We're Not Wizards.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
iTunes is itunes.com/12684/823/YPZ4. It's not, it's just a code.
That? That's
I
amazing.
don't, I'm just making I was probably going through to somebody else. I'll check out this podcast. Oh, it's the Dice Tower. Brilliant. You can listen to us on Stitcher as well. Go to iTunes and rate and review us if you'd like. That would be nice. Go on the Facebook page and like the page. We don't update it that regularly, but we do try to update it when we can. Obviously, follow us on Twitter. We like a chat on Twitter. We're quite happy to chat to anybody at all. We're here for a laugh. We're here for a bit of fun. We are many things, but we're not wizards.
We're not.
Say goodbye, Colin.
Goodbye, Colin.
And I've been Richard as usual, and I'm going to do the theme tune again. No, you can't change it. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. We're not wizards.